Welcome everybody to the latest edition of Woke Bros. I'm Big Waz, aka Wazi Lambre, joined as always by Nando Vila. If you're listening to this, obviously you've already gotten the news. Our brother and our co-host Michael Brooks passed away Monday morning. From what we know as pulmonary embolism in his throat, which I guess is a blood clot. I was actually at Starbucks working on something that I'm writing for The Athletic. Monday morning, I got a call from my cousin Teddy. A lot of you guys don't know this, but Michael and my cousin Teddy were partners. They met at my birthday party in 2016 or 17. I can't remember the exact date. And they've basically been, together ever since. And she called me from the hospital, said that we lost Michael. She was with him when he collapsed in his bathroom. She called the ambulance, obviously, and went with him to the hospital. And it wasn't very long while he was at the hospital that the doctors pronounced him gone. Mike was 36. He would have been 37 next month on the 13th. As you guys know, me and Mike started this sort of show because honestly, we do our thing on the Bomb Show, the main show, but that's not all of the things that I'm interested in. Obviously, you guys know I have a real deep interest in politics and culture and, community issues. And obviously, Mike shared that interest. And me and Mike have been friends since about 2015. And he would always share his platform with me, whether that be Majority Report, whether that be Two Dope Boys with my man Phil, shouts to Phil, or whether that be TMBS. And it was decided, he was like, yo, why don't we just do, a weekly show together? This was Mike just coming through. Obviously, he has a busy schedule, just making time to do something with me because he felt like it would be fun. And mainly, we just both agreed that it would be a good way for us to spend time together every single week, shoot the shit and talk about what's going on in the world. And we'll no longer be doing that. We're not going to end Woke Bros. In fact, I'll die believing that Mike knew what he was doing when he actually introduced me to Nando and brought Nando on because I've loved every second of working with Nando. It's been incredible, so much fun. We vibe, we just go. And that's because of our connection to Mike. Mike put us together, and he thought it was a great idea. And that's part of Mike and who he is. He's always bringing people together, always wanting to be as inclusive as possible. And so I'm so happy and thankful that he made the thing happen with me and Nando. Yeah, man. You guys know what Mike was about. He's about working people, poor people, disadvantaged people, about, trying to get everybody together so that we can make sure everybody gets a fair shot at living a life with dignity, some type of pride, that you're not living in squalor, that you're not worried about your next meal, that you don't know if your kid's going to be able to pay to educate themselves, just the basic stuff that everybody on the show, everybody who listens to this stuff cares about. This is what Mike was about. And that's what this show is going to continue to be about. I know in the past few months, I've there's been so much going on in the country that directly impacts our work here, right? The stuff that we care about, that we discuss here. And a part of my worldview when I first met Mike, I wouldn't say that I had a fully formed ideology or worldview. I knew the things that I was kind of interested in, but meeting Mike and becoming friends with him, he opened my eyes to so many different things, so many people that I should know about, things that I should read, ideas that I should be exploring. And there's just no other way to put it. The guy's had a profound impact on my worldview, and it'll be that way until I'm gone from here. And so, in that sense, Mike is not gone. He lives within all of us. A piece of him, anyway, will continue to live and to grow within all of us. And so, we're not gonna stop the show. We're gonna keep going. The work continues. The forces of evil and money are still allied against us. And so we still got to do what we have to do. And so the show's going to go on. We just wanted to, we had to come on because this is Mike's show too, and address the tragic early passing of Mike. And, Woke Bros is going to continue. I hope that you guys continue to listen to us. And I'm going to just hand it over to Nando so he can share a few brief words with you guys.
Yeah, Laz, and I really appreciate, the kind words you said about me. Like, that's exactly right. Mike, his gift was connecting people and building these alliances. And he really believed deeply in cross-racial solidarity, finding, what binds us as human beings, like he was deeply humanist in that sense. Like, I remember when he asked me, I was like, I'm going to be doing a show on the Black Opinions Matter feed. And I was like, I was kind of laughing about it, I'm Hispanic or whatever, but like, I'm like a white presenting dude,
Right.
It's just going to be like, and I thought that was kind of funny, but like to him, that was the most natural thing in the world. Right. It was like, no, of course. Like, yeah, and, I just loved like how strategic he thought about these things, how he really saw himself as a political agent in that sense. Like there was a line, Bhaskar Sunkara, the editor of Jacobin, wrote an amazing obituary for Michael, and he closed it out with a Victor Serge quote that he said, that it's a line that he often talked about with Michael, which was Victor Serge was like a Russian revolutionary in the early 1900s, and he said that, quote, "The only meaning of life lies in conscious participation in the making of history." And I think that was Mike, and he really thought about the work that he did, the friendships that he cultivated strategically as a way to build a political project that he wanted to be mainstream and lasting, because like what you said, he wanted to help out poor working people. That's all he cared about, and he did it with such amazing kind of sense of friendship and camaraderie. I met him in 2017 when he asked me to be on his show, and like he immediately became friends with me, and it was like the most natural thing in the world. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Yep. It's just like he was just like, hey, and then he kept in touch, and it wasn't like this weird thing. Like he just became my friend, and then. We started doing this show, and I think he saw it as, a way to get to a different type of person, a different type of audience than the kind of thing he did on TMBS. Like on TMBS, he was really doing like really elevated theory stuff and, international politics and stuff. And like, I think he saw this show, and I think he saw me and your skills as complementary to that we're good at like, kind of doing the first step in someone's political awakening, whereas Mike is like, his show is like, once you've walked in the door, you're getting into like a real classroom and stuff like that. But we're just kind of like three dudes who like just shooting the shit and just kind of welcoming people in the door. And I remember when I did Nomiki Kontz's live show with him in LA, I saw that kind of working in action, in which like a guy came up to us and he was like, he was like a young kid, and he clearly was like an athlete. Like he wasn't like, he wasn't like your bookish kind of nerdy guy who you usually see on the left, like reading. He was just like this, normal dude. And he's like, hey man, like I started listening to the Woke Bros because of the Count of Dings and the bomb feed, and like now I'm like a committed socialist. And I was like, like
that's amazing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I think like what you described, where when you met him, you didn't have like a sort of fully formed political ideology. And I think the same can be said about like someone like Anna Kasparian, who we're friends with. He met her, and he really kind of, in a sort of really gracious and fun and friendly way, kind of helped her develop a more coherent political ideology. And that was what was so amazing with him, is that so many people on the left like look at someone like that and be like, oh my God, he's just a liberal, or like not worth talking to. And he was like, no, let's be welcoming. Let's bring these people to our team. Our arguments are the strong arguments. They're the correct arguments. We just have to let them in the door. And I'm just like honored. I'm honored and touched to be able to do that with him and with you every week on this show. seeing the people respond on Twitter and sending emails and stuff like that. Jacobin did a big roundup of people who emailed them, talking about like how Mike, and just how many people were like, I was a big fan of Sam Harris until like I discovered like a Michael Brooks video on YouTube, and now I'm like, I'm not on that team anymore. Like, so many people were like, I was like on the path to being like an alt-right, insane person, until like I discovered like on YouTube. And it's like, yeah, man, that's what it's about. It's about talking to people, engaging with people in a way that's welcoming, friendly, funny, intelligent. And that's what he did, man. And it's just, it's horrible that he's gone. Like it really is. And I it comes and goes for me. Like I try to distract myself and stuff, and I can't. And I keep on remembering talking to Mike in the darkest moments of like when COVID was starting and like the Bernie campaign was ending, and it just seemed like bleak as hell, and it's very tempting to just get like fully black pilled and just be like, whatever, man, I'm fucking checking out of this shit, like what's the point, and he was always like, nah, man, like and not like in a corny way. It was like always like, nah, man, we just like this is like part of it, like defeat is part of it, you just got to keep going. And and I think that came from like his unbelievable understanding of like people's liberation movements all over Africa and Latin America and Southeast Asia. Like he loved studying that shit, and he knew that the struggle is long, the struggle is full of defeats, but you just got to keep going. And like I don't know, I hope we can do that, in some way.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. We got to continue to do what we do in the way that we do it, and in the tradition of Mike. And what I say is, just that's what I really admired about Mike, is his ability to make something funny, make something palatable, make something understandable for anybody. Like, all right, I think this thing is ridiculous, but it's not, I'm going to get indignant about it and shout at you and say, you're an idiot for not understanding. No, I'm going to use humor to explain the ridiculousness of the situation. And, his ability to make people laugh. And Sam said something yesterday that struck me too. He talked about a lot of funny people are hard to make laugh.
Oh, yeah.
But Mike is the opposite.
Yeah.
His ability to laugh and enjoy something, and just enjoy the moment, that's gonna stay with me forever. And I think we're gonna continue to do the show in that spirit. Like, sure, we'll get pissed off about stuff, but we're always gonna be positive. Laughing, telling jokes, and doing it in that way, and keeping our eye on the ball. Somebody who I admire a lot is Chuck Pierce from Esquire, and he would always blog about Occupy, and he was like, people could say whatever they want to say about Occupy. Oh, they're dirty, trust fund babies, and blah blah blah. The movement is rudderless. The movement is this. He's like, they're yelling at the right buildings. This isn't some aimless thing. They are yelling at the right people. You can say whatever the fuck you want. They're getting it right as far as who's to blame here, who ruined everything, who needs accounting. And I think, I think about that quote all the time, because I think over here, what we're going to strive to do is continue to yell at the right buildings, right? Yeah. Like, continue to aim our voices and whatever platform or might that we might have against the people that we're supposed to be doing it against. And, we just wanted to record something today to tell people that we're not going to stop doing this. If anything, we're going to try to make the movement bigger. We're going to try to make it, more mainstream. We're going to keep going, as Nando is the official spokesperson of La Liga. You know what I'm saying? As my little, I know, as my little profile, grows and grows here, we never going to stop the mission. So, I just want you guys to keep Mike, his family in your thoughts, his sister Leisha, his mom and dad, and everybody who loved him. Just keep them in your thoughts. And man, and next week we're gonna air a memorial on the bomb feed for Mike. TMBS is putting together a memorial show for Mike, and we're gonna air that on this feed instead of Woke Bros. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with a fresh Woke Bros. Getting back to the issues that matter to us.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first thing Leisha said to us. Like, the first thing when we talked to her was like, just do whatever you do, keep his work alive, somehow keep it going. That's the only thing I ask. And like, I thought that was just, a beautiful sentiment that I took to heart, and I will never, ever, 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 ever stop. I never stop. I'll never fall into despair. I'll never stop. I'll just those words will live with me forever, and I will never stop. So,
all right. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Rest in peace to my brother Michael Jamal Brooks. Peace to everybody who loves him and supported him. Peace to the Majority Report community and TMBS community who have lifted this show up in incredible ways. And again, so many people from our own Count the Dings community reached out to me these past few days and just was like, I discovered Mike through you guys. Like, he was a voice that I never even knew that I needed. And they became disciples, and they became, not to deify Mike, but they really took heed to his message, man. And so shouts to all of you guys that support what we do. We'll see you next week. I'm Big Waz, Fernando Vila, and of course, super producer Rob Lopez, keeping all the trains running on time. We'll see you guys. Before we get out of here, Mike, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but can we get some Nation of Islam, Barack Obama?
See, I didn't know that Nick Cannon had the truth like that. I had no idea. I thought he was Black Bob Saget. Turns out he's bringing the truth. March with BLM. Fuck out of our streets. Wants to contribute money. I like George, so that old devil's giving money. Stay at home, put on a mask. White people are 30 times more likely to get corona, yet we're more likely to die from it. Wonder why that is. Look at the pyramid, it says CIA. The truth you don't want.
Oh my goodness.
So,